strong for those. So it's a champ that I feel like often can be, you know, it doesn't show its true value and stuff like Scrims and Solo Queue, but in stage, it's definitely one of the scarier picks to just like, let's scale up, get away with it.
Certainly is. Well, let's get away with it by jumping into the game. Our second one of the night to close out the weekend. It's day 3, and it is game number 2, a battle in the middle of the table as the Hellpigs take on Beyond Gaming. The big thing for me is the fact that, yes, it will be another new champion with the Corki coming in the mid lane, but for Lakai, it's his second time. He's the only person that's been playing the Camille.
Okay, actually second time. That's interesting. So Corki gone for the first strike, definitely going for the max scaling. And the Electrocute taken by Kongyue, so really playing for some hard snowballing, has not only the Futures Marker, but also has the Treasure Hunter, so just really hoping to accelerate here. And Silas is one of the best snowballers in the game, I think. You know, from an even state, is not particularly threatening, but once he gets going, is insane. Tuck as well has gone for the Dark Harvest, so yeah, going to be a very explosive early game, you'd have to think. And it looks like Kongyue is starting topside and pathing down. Now, it could be interesting. Will he go for the 3-camp top gank with this Camille, or will he just path down to defend his bot lane? Not totally sure. Well, Taco actually started Raptors, but is now just crossing into Kongyue's jungle. So going Raptors straight to enemy blue, although is spotted out on a ward. Perhaps will make him turn around.
Would you want to entertain that fight, even at this very early game start?
Yeah, I would think Gragas should be stronger than Silas here, but with no mid or bot priority, I'd be very surprised. I guess he's going to be able to get it. If we're looking at the minimap here, doesn't seem like Kongyue is aware. Huge trade coming out mid. 1-6 kind of showing that mid lane matchup.
And I feel like in a way, it's almost like Hong 2 has to be the sacrificial lamb, right? He has to almost bait 1-1-6 into a false sense of security, saying that, like, you don't know that my jungler is taking your blue buff. Thank you. Kongyue is now just found out. Can he recall? He has nowhere to go. The bot lane from BYG are like, he's in the area. Get him out. He's been spotted now. It's not a Baron-inspired recall, so you're in trouble. And the worst case scenario here is you try and deny yourself to tower, but I mean, you've taken a blue buff, but the cost is high. Kongyue would love it. Everybody wants a piece of the pie. They want an assist.
Yeah.
But it's first blood for BYG.
Yeah, I think that's really big. First blood giving over to Kongyue's stars, which is a massive win. I think Taco, he probably should have just executed to the tower, given how much time he spent in there, but it's hard to know, right? Obviously, we're playing with full vision. He's not. So yeah, I mean, picked up the blue, which was nice, but just given straight back over, and the first blood as well.
And it goes back to your point as well, right? The fact that you need priority in those lanes to try and help you secure that. And if it's not as easy as literally moving out of lane to go there, you have to take some pretty bad trades to force them to be interested in staying in lane, right? So their team, or Hellpigs, couldn't actually go up, whereas BYG could. And they're continuing to fight here in the bot lane, very explosively so too. ICA is very low. Taco has to come back.
Taco is in the area, but I believe he got spotted out there by the minions. Oh, actually double wards placed right on top of each other, nice and synced. Ultra vision. Now both mids do pick up the tiers, so going for the Manamune builds. And yeah, once again, you know, Hong 2, despite losing priority as expected, you know, remains competitive in terms of CS, which is really all that you need as the Corki. And with the bone plating, is actually able to at least survive some of these trades. And Taco could actually be in trouble here.
Kongyue goes in. Red buff will be claimed here by Taco. You love to see it, but Kongyue is going to back away, realizing that I don't need to overextend, much like I saw my counterpart do moments prior. I can just deny all these camps. My bot lanes, well, they're locked in place. You can see here, both AD carries down to really 100 HP.
Yeah, and they're actually walking away, I guess, perhaps respecting the fact that Kongyue could be here, but now he's spotted out.
He takes this. Lots of damage once again, keeping Taco locked away. The fadeaway chains back in. He's toying with him now.
Yeah, so Kongyue does push out Taco, and again, with that mid and bot priority, can just live in his jungle. And I think normally as Silas, you're expecting that if you can't get any successful ganks off, that you should fall behind. But here is actually just ending up pushing the enemy jungler out 1v1. Not what you often see. Definitely a great start. Top lane, relatively quiet. I think when you're playing Camille versus Na, you're really waiting for that level 6 and then trying to set up a gank. Obviously very hard to survive up against those level 6 Camille ganks.
Do you have much experience with that matchup? How do you find that one playing out? Because I have always been an advocate that, you know, Camille gets Sheen, you start to feel a little bit scared. 2 items come online, you start to get terrified. Yeah. what sort of windows are you excited for now? Is it 1v1 or more so you need to group up?
Yeah, I think Gnar, I'm pretty sure, I mean, I don't actually know the matchup that well, but just the way most Camille matchups play out is the longer it goes, the worse it gets, especially when Camille completes Sundra, it starts being very bad. You can kind of see here, Taco on the Gnar has managed to build up at least a smaller game lead, but hold that thought, Feng is taking a lot of damage, has the flash. And top lane, yeah, the Shin completed for Likai. And at level 6 with Kongyue is almost a guaranteed kill onto the Gnar, I feel like. It's, I think, very difficult to survive that sort of gang setup. The Dirk's actually completed for 1-1-1-6, so now should be able to pressure Hong2 a lot, but with Corki being level 6, can just look to wave clear from afar. And Tide, interestingly, is skipping the Dirk, so just going again for more scaling, not really wanting to play too much for the lane. I think that's always interesting, right? Because a lot of the time, it's not like Dirk is like a bad item by any means, right? It does slow down your items a little bit, but it does make you very strong for this lane. But perhaps saying that just wants to get the Gale Force as quickly as possible and try and snowball from there.
Yeah, much more focused on just farming and then grouping up for those team fights, right? To have that mythic item spike over your opposition. So it's a difference, I suppose, really of those play styles. There's Hong2, every single time Jay switches into hammer form to land, a lot of pain and punishment. Valkyrie's at the ready, rather. But the shock blast afterwards, though, is always going to catch you out.
And Taco, he is in the area. Perhaps could use this priority to get wards. Feels like starting Dragon would be very difficult at this point in the game. Kongyue, though, is pathing towards top, and Likai does have the ult. Wave doesn't look in the most gankable position, though. Actually, Kongyue is sort of committing to this. He is, yeah, perhaps looking for the lane gank.
I think he really wants to get a kill because he's the only one right now that's picked up a Dark Seal. He's already got the tier 2 boots. With the setup, the electrocute, with the Monster Hunter, I mean, he wants gold, he wants kills, he wants to snowball it even further, right? So maybe quite patient here, going to sneak himself into that most upwards bush. And in we go, flash hook shot, there's the Hexagon Medium, you're guaranteed dead to rights. And it's Kongyue again.
Yeah, really, really well executed from BYG there, just to pull the trigger and know that you can take down Taiko. Now 2 kills on the Kongyue Silas, rapidly getting out of control. And there is not a lot of guaranteed CC from Hellpig, so it's going to be very difficult to deal with. Yeah, definitely starting to become a problem in the jungle. As you can see, the CS is very low. Not really expecting to farm up as the size, but let's take a look at this. So, you know, the E flash is what really starts us off for BYG, and just so nicely followed up. They really just were willing to commit everything to getting that kill. Now I have a lot of respect for that, you know, just making sure they actually do secure it. Flashes blown in bot lane. Actually, BYG lost both their bot lane flashes, and Hellpigs didn't lose any.
Yeah, in literally a minute, we've lost 4 flashes on the side of BYG, right, from top and bot as well. So whilst Hellpigs were feeling a little bit angry, I suppose, about the gank working out top side, they tried to push up the pressure and find a kill in the 2v2. It's not to be the case, though. Hong2 also had to call upon Taco just to actually just stand in lane, just to ensure that he could clear the wave, go back to base, come back another time.
Now, Kongyue is in the area again, but without flashes and without the Camille ult, probably won't happen. Actually, looks like Taco might be able to pick up this Herald. I guess just too much tempo used by BYG to actually end up contesting this. So nice win here for Hellpigs. I would like to see this probably use bot. I think with both flashes being burned, there's definitely a gank opportunity in that lane.
If they can sync up the wave quite well, and Taco can get a good read on his path down there. Red has respawned. You pick that one up, you go for the dive, make a play with a great explosive cast. They can't flash out of it.
Yeah, 100%. I wonder if Kongyue will look to match this, or perhaps look top again. No flash on Taco top, but you know, obviously without the Camille ult being quite ready, perhaps not. It looks like he is pathing to match bot side, so I think both teams expecting something to happen here pretty soon. Looking to get aggressive, knows that there are no flashes, and perhaps just wants to wait for Taco to clear the red buff and then come down.
Yeah, it should just be a case of both junglers picking up their respective buffs in the bot half of this map here and then looking to pay a bit of attention to this bot lane as to how the ebb and flow goes. I would love to see that gank take place. That would be the stabilizing factor because, I mean, I say that word, right? There's only 200 gold separating these teams at the 10-minute mark. Does feel more, though, because, I mean, 116 is really holding his own despite only being up a few CS.
Yeah, he's definitely starting to make some stuff happen in mid lane. Hong2 is forced back off the tower here. Taco is spotted out, so there's probably not going to be any Rift Herald opportunity. And Kongyue is pinging onto the dragon. So knows they're very strong. Hong2 still has not reset. And with that mid priority, should be able to secure it. Should definitely be nice.
Just completely tracked as well, though, isn't it, for Taco? Nowhere he goes, he's completely spotted, so can't contest the dragon, can't push into mid because, as we see, Hong2 is just completely gone. Oh my god, 116. He flashes to find the angle. Taco comes in for what reason? We don't know. The Herald won't be used, and our top side, we look for more action as the second Taco's in trouble, trying to run away, and thankfully, he's able to get out of Camille's grasp.
Yeah, disaster across the board there for Hellpigs. Hong2 did not match the flash, so unfortunately did get solo killed, and then Taco off the back end somehow ended up dying, and another kill goes over to Kongyue's Silas. I think this game is very quickly getting away from Hellpigs. Although here we are with the bot lane fight.
Yeah, they need to go for a fight right now. Oh, everything missing here from the Hellpigs bot lane.
Yeah, you felt like perhaps that was the window where you have the ignite advantage as well as no flashes for BYG. Hong2 is in the area with the package. Again, there are no flashes, so could maybe look. Fang, though, can always go through the wall.
The timing's just all off, though, isn't it, right? The package being up now, for what reason? What can it achieve? Let's run it back again, because this is really clever from 116 with how he finds the angle on that shock blast.
Yeah, Hong2 did have flash, but so it was initially, did a lot of damage onto him. Hong2 is very, very low. 116 was going to back off, but perhaps saw the angle here. Yeah, really nice combo, and Hong2 did greet the flash. Taco off the back end, I mean, he was just trying to show up and clear the wave, but the entire team collapses on him.
He was just waiting for a mate. The thing I like the most about that is 116, as soon as the vision of what Hong can see is gone, he's feigning, I'm going back to base. That vision is removed, psych, I'm flashing to kill you. So really well done in that micro decision.
Kongyue now 3 kills to his name. Now, the Herald does go down bot, so it will be plates given over, but it's not going to be anything more than that. I think Hellpigs, despite being only down 1,000 gold, they're in a rough spot for any of these mid-game fights. Corki is going to be so much weaker than the Jace, as well as Kongyue, just unstoppable on the Silas currently. And quietly in top lane, Lee Kai, he got Taco on the Gnar very, very low just before. Didn't quite pick up the kill, but it's perhaps a sign of things to come. And bot lane getting very aggressive. We're perhaps seeing a fight here.
We're on. They've got their flashes back. So what does it mean? They're the ones to pull the trigger. They go forward. They say, you've missed your chance to try and punish us, so we'll punish you instead.
Yeah, now BYG 5-0. Kongyue potentially looking for more under the tower, but Taco is here to match. Is he going to go for anything? Doesn't seem like it. And dragging to another 2 minutes. I think BYG, they're in a great spot. They're very ahead. Have that first dragon already, and they've disarmed any kind of herald opportunity. I think also, like you mentioned before, the package from Hong2 now won't be synced up with any objectives, which feels odd, right? Because I think that when you're playing Corki, obviously you are expecting to lose, pressure in the early game, but you always have those very kind of defined windows of power. But the fact that they're not really being used to great effect means that you kind of just end up with a hole in mid lane for a very long time.
I mean, there's always an argument, right? You want to try and min-max your cooldowns and get as many of those packages out throughout the game as you can. But certainly it feels bad for it to either go to waste or just have to be used on a minion wave of all things when you can just do it yourself with your basic toolkit. So to not have that up for that next dragon does feel a little bit bad. I'd love to see if a situation doesn't present itself for them to potentially greed it for a third or fourth Drake contest if it were to go to way of Beyond Gaming. But the big thing for me, starting from even the pre-game, going into this, right, is you need to shut down Kongyue. He's got one of the highest KPs, 85%? He's 3-0-1.
Yeah, once again, really showing why he's that backbone of BYG, right? He's always the guy that you can rely on to make these plays happen. And if things start going bad, he's still there to kind of prop that up. 116, continuing to poke on the tower. Hong2, he feels like he's getting forced under tower pretty much every single way. Now, Kongyue is perhaps looking for another dive top. Taco does have the flash, but the Gnar bar, very low. He's cutting the wave. There's no one nearby.
Yeah, this is looking like a bit deja vu. Here we go once again. Oh, there's the Gnar shove. He's used his own worst nightmare, really. I'm trying to find a way to describe it. It just feels so bad.
Yeah.
to sort of have your own ult thrown against you, but ultimately the explosive cast goes out, the wave is there. The blast cone is just like, what were you trying? I mean, for me, what I've seen in the first 15 minutes here is just, yeah, no synergy really from Hellpigs.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is that Taco hold that thought, Feng is taking a lot of damage, but does get ignited. I think part of it is that Taco on Gragas always feels the need to hover Hong 2 mid lane, right? Because you're just like constantly under tower, it feels the need to kind of prop that up. But all that happens really is that Kongyue is like, okay, I can just go somewhere else on the map, and knowing that Taco's not going to be there, and is consistently finding kills, especially after that first one, you know, picked up on the Gragas in the jungle, is now sitting at 4-0. Bot tower does go down. Hellpigs do pick that up. The Herald is a traitor. Mid tower drops as well, and I believe this mid tower actually dropped with no Herald, so this was purely auto attacks on the mid lane tower. So very impressive here from 1116.
Yeah, Kongyue still has that one to use later on. And I mean, that just felt like it was bound to happen at any point in the game, right? This Jace has been an absolute menace in the mid lane. And I mean, to Hong2's testament, he's been doing a great job keeping up with the CS. I guess half of that is that you can CS from afar, but you definitely can't trade to match what this Jace is able to put out.
Yeah, I mean, Corgi's definitely going to scale well into this game. It's just whether or not it's too little too late. Because pretty much all of BYG are feeling, you know, very strong at this situation. In fact, it's 16 minutes in and we still don't see Mythic picked up by Taco's Gragas. So yeah, feeling very far behind, and perhaps that's the punishment, right, for letting all those junglers, you know, kind of go to the second phase, not really having great picks left available. But Kongyue is certainly making it work on the Silas.
Certainly is. You draft a composition, or you take a rune selection where you want to be aggressive, and you get aggressive, and you really make sure that the rest of your team is benefiting from the fact that you are so snowballed ahead, so accelerated in this game. Mid tower fell down organically. Second in the bot is going to go down through the Heralds, and the map is just starting to really belong to BYG now, breaking open what is soon to be a 3k gold lead.
Yeah, perhaps the one saving grace for Hellpigs here is that they managed to pick up one of the dragons. So it does buy them, their Corki specifically, a little bit of scaling, but I think BYG should be able to pretty easily knock down all three of the tier 1s here. Mid and bot already gone, so just this top tower left on low HP. Wow.
Ooh, Tide tries to be aggressive, and I think he had instant regrets there. Shock blast to the dome, and his life flashed before him.
Yeah, that feels pretty bad. Dashing forward and instantly losing half your health. It's not the best reward circuit for you. But Hong2, he's managing to hold on to this top tower, at least for now, but it can't be too much longer. There's lots of pings going down from BYG on this top lane, so yeah, looks like this tower will be picked up in relatively short order. Hong2 has the package, but wisely leaving it in base, probably wants to save it for that next dragon fight.
Yeah, and it makes sense this time, a lot more than what we've seen in the past, right? Yep, Baron is up shortly in, a minute 30, but that's not going to be contested anytime soon. But the Dragon is still another 3 minutes away. So if they can try and find an avenue back into this one through that alone, then the Corki starts to really stabilize what has been a very rough early game.
And Kongyue perhaps still looking for something in topside, not content to just wait and fight these objectives, actually wants to continue to push the advantage. Perhaps looking around mid as well. Ooh, chains do not quite connect. The ult actually comes out.
It's a bit it's a helping hand, isn't it? You can get out of here.
It's the second time actually after the blast going on the Lulu.
It stunned me more than anybody.
Well, Tide getting aggressive, but there are members nearby.
Oh, max range on the chains. Oh my God, Kongyue, give him the MVP already. He's just a little too good on the Silas now, 6-0.
Yeah, 10 stacks on the Dark Seal as well. Oh my. What a performance. Sometimes the Silas chains are a lot longer than you think they are, for better or worse. Feng getting quite aggressive, but does get out. I think this is really just, it's becoming so hard for Hellpigs to win. Kongyue is just so snowballed on a champion that you really just can't allow to get this strong.
Just so flexible, right? You can pick any ultimate for any situation, present yourself with windows where you can showcase just how mechanically good you are. And that's what we're seeing right now. It's just an absolute masterclass. And
take a look at the replays. So Tide getting quite aggressive, even though he has no vision of the top side. And then Kongyue from Fog of War gets that stun. And IC8 here uses a flash, but just gets sniped by the barrel. I feel like Kongyue's had better Gragas ults here than Taco has. Rough situation. And we'll be going towards that Zhonya's next. So it's going to be very hard to actually kill in these fights. 1 minute now on the Dragon, but I don't see Hellpigs being able to contest it at all.
No. And on that side note, it's actually one of the things I've really enjoyed about watching players, you know, on a Silas or a Viego, your mastery of the other champions, right? Your ability to showcase what you can do to fit any situation. But, yeah, right now, the world really does belong to Kong Yue. He can do no wrong. He can go anywhere he pleases, on vision or not. It doesn't matter, because he'll find you, he'll take you down, and he'll remind you, I could have killed you there.
Yeah, Hong2 narrowly gets away. I think his life might have flashed before his eyes there. But 40 seconds on this Dragon, and Hong2 still has the package waiting in base. So might decide to go back and get it, or perhaps fully committing to giving this one up. You definitely don't need to fight it, given that you already have a drag. Perhaps just want to look to scale, although your Corki does have 2 items. It's weird because I think that while Hong2 is going to scale really nicely into this game, I'm not even sure if Hellpigs actually do outscale. You know, up against the Zeri Lulu as well as the Camille.
Yeah.
There's still very nice scaling coming in from BYG.
I think the concern more than anything for me right now, Shock, is how do you manage these side lanes? Because the Jace is out of control. The Camille's only going to continue to get stronger and stronger. And Lakai is just proving to be a bit of a split-pushing demon.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way really to stop him. I feel like you have to commit multiple members, but you're already stretched so thin across the map. And BYG, they are going to pick up this Dragon without much fanfare. Looks like it will not be contested. And perhaps your eyes start to go towards Baron in the near future. I think Mountain Drags as well, always nice to pick up. It's a very consistent drag, you know. It doesn't really require you to do anything special and will always get value. Well, BYG, I think, you know, what worries me perhaps more than the Dragon is the fact that you are just losing these jungle camps. Because the thing is, when you're playing something like the Corki, right, you really need as much access to gold as you can get. So if you're getting pushed out of your own jungle, you know, not only is Taco denied, but Hong2 can't really accelerate himself any further than he is now. And it becomes difficult to make up this gold lead.
Yes, it does. They found themselves in a very dicey situation, right, where they've tried to be stable through the bot lane. Hasn't worked out. They missed that major window when they had the Herald overlap with the double flashes being missed in the bot lane too. Weren't able to make anything happen from that point. And ultimately, BYG were then able to restabilize, come back into their own and say, well, if you don't do anything, we certainly will. 10 stacks on the Dark Steel. That now becomes a Magi's. And at this point, I think we're all rallying now for the perfect game out of Kong Yue.
Yeah, 100% agree. I love the Magi's here. Should know he's far enough ahead and really knows he's just going to snowball this game. Now, interesting also from the Zeri, picks up the BT for even more lifesteal. So perhaps saying that, you know, can just weather any kind of poke from the Lucian and from the Corki to the point where it just won't matter. And I like that sort of adaptation. I think probably has overheal as well. And with that much lifesteal as well as a Lulu, I don't think Feng is ever dying this game. Now, BYG pushing them out of the top side, can start to pressure these tier 2 towers as well as look at the Baron. Kong Yue getting very, very aggressive. Might just Nami ult off the tower.
Yeah, Taco's going to drop the ult just to try and trim the wave more than anything right there. Is Max Wave, as actually was trading waves. Kong Yue the focus, flashing out of the body slam. In comes Taco, shoves back 2, no stun, but a slow instead. Shutdown is good, the bubble is better. That's the target they want. Who gets the kill? Kong Yue still living. Oh, he's jumped to a minion. It's the worst case scenario. He wishes it didn't happen. Taco limping away, and Hellpigs are answering back. Why did I ever say Hong2 was bad in this situation? Because he's just found a moment in the mid game to get a triple.
Yeah, I think BYG massively misexecuted, and this is perhaps the lifeline that Hellpigs need. I don't think there's any way to contest this Baron now, so it should be picked up by Hellpigs, and that's going to be a massive goal swing. Kino, I'm not sure what he's up to here. I don't think Lulu will be stealing any Barons.
I guess you just lose lane or win game. I mean, that was a phenomenal team fight right there. An instant switch to the Baron and a massive gold swing as a result.
Yeah, what a colossal throw from BYG. You know, had as much control as you possibly needed, but in a moment it's just all wiped away. To see how this started, I felt like the damage has kind of already been, you know, done here. You can just like back out and there's nothing really wrong. And honestly, Taco's engage also is diffused by the Camille ult, but here Feng dies pretty much for free, and Kong Yue actually was out here, but decided to go back in, trying to get that kill on the Taco, and now loses the Magi stacks. 1116 as well. I think if he just stayed alive, could have continued to poke Hellpigs off the Baron. But now that he goes down, there's no threat left, and Hellpigs just end up cleaning this up. I really do think BYG, across the board, massively misexecuted that fight. And now Helpigs, they really do have a pretty solid chance of winning this game.
They really do. And what was a pretty rough early game is completely flipped on its head. And I'd be really curious to see what the goal graph looks like from a perspective of how much it has flipped back, because that was, just really out of the sweat. And I think more than anything, Shock, that's Caster Curse. We talk about 10 stacks and Magi's. Instantly, that purchase feels terrible.
Yeah, that's rough. You always hate to see that happen. I've definitely had it happen a few times. Now, Helpigs, we'll have to see how much can you get done with the Baron here. I feel like even if you don't get a lot done, you've bought yourself kind of the ticket back into the game, if you will. And here's your goal difference. Was getting quite monumental, and just in a moment, all disappears.
Yeah, 5K lost in an instant. I mean, it just feels like the stock market crashing on your head. All that Bitcoin gone for nothing.
1 minute left on this Dragon. BYG, they're going to definitely want to keep stacking these up. And Helpigs as well with the Baron should be able to maintain control of it. I think both teams will look to 5v5 it. And Kongyue, losing those Magi stacks, it's pretty significant. Obviously, is still very strong, but, it makes him a lot weaker than he would have been. And still does not have the Zhonya's completed. So potentially this fight could be difficult for him, although perhaps picks it up now. Yeah, Zhonya's is completed, so fortunately we'll have that in time for this fight. Very important for a champion like Silas. 30 seconds. Will it just come down to another 5v5 contest? I think it will. Both teams grouping up on this mid wave. Hong2 has the package this time. I think this might be the first time we've seen it in a fight this game, but I have to imagine with it being 3-1, 3 items, it's going to be so strong. I'm actually not sure if BYG can contest this.
Yeah, this is absolutely phenomenal right now. Kongyue, he's received the wild growth completely zoned away. They've lost their major tools to try and contest this one. I think just the threat of a package, the threat of a Corki running you down like that is enough to say, okay, we don't even look at this.
Yeah, and I think Helpigs will pick this one up, so now tying up the Dragons 2-2, and the gold lead is about 100. It's so even at this point in the game. We really love to see it. A great game being played here. Now, 116 has completed 3 items as well, so the carries are starting to get very strong. You have to think Hong2's Corki not only scaling well, but also accelerating after that previous fight. Is definitely the man to watch here. I do think we will enter a bit of a lull state here. There's no Dragons or Baron up for some time. People will kind of just be moving around the map, perhaps take some control. The Kai might actually look on Otaku here. No? Choose.
I'm curious to see, if they're concerned now, having just majorly, mis-executed that previous team fight, thinking, well, why do we need to group up and entertain a 5v5 again then? Let's go back to what we were doing before, which was roaming around the map, 2-man dives, top and jungle, always taking down Taco. Looking to try and break apart the team because, as strong as they are as a 5-man, they're a lot weaker when they're sort of forced to try and answer these waves.
Yeah, I think you could definitely see BYG kind of look for that. It can be difficult when Corki has package, but right now knows that it will not be up. And, BYG, they have a lot of poke, but it doesn't really seem to be sticking. The Nami sustain does make it kind of difficult. And Zeri as well has completed the PD, but does not have Navori or IE. So obviously gone for a bit of a safer build, but will not be dealing as much damage. And finally, you see the gold lead ever so slightly in Helpigs' favor. And coming back from, what, a 5k gold deficit to now being slightly ahead, it feels, what a turnaround.
Massive swing. Multiple members, bounties, Baron, Siege as a result afterwards. It's everything they would have needed to try and stabilize in a comp where, once again, Helpig's mantra for me has to be, we scale at any cost. No matter the game, no matter the team, we will pick to scale and we'll make it work some way, somehow. So let's see what they can do to try and continue in that fashion, because they're getting items and no doubt be feeling quite confident after that team fight success. But as you already mentioned, there will be that lull point because we are waiting for that next major moment in the game. And it could come quite soon. 50 seconds, Baron to play for. 4 members strong here from BYG. Sieging up a treat here in the top lane as they go for a 4-1 split with Camilla mid.
Yeah, and Hong2 with the wave clear, though, does make it difficult to get any significant damage on this tower. It's getting chipped away at, though. It's better than nothing, but now Baron in 35 seconds. I think BYG have to be thinking about it at least. They do have priority pretty much across the board right now and a lot of control. At the same time, though, starting up Baron versus a fed Corki is a very scary prospect. Can easily get poked off it, and if the package is ever up, can easily die as well. 15 seconds. on this Baron. I feel like it might just end up teams waiting for this third drag. Perhaps something will happen around mid-wave though. We will see members being grouped up again. Hong2 isn't here yet though.
Yeah, Lakai does have the Unleashed teleport, but decides not to go for another push in the bot side, instead group up with the team. Would like to see the solo laners look to try and utilize their TP advantages, or at least try and force one out by baiting a Baron start. But instead just entertain the idea that let's always just group up as 5.
Yeah, now a minute 30 on this drag. Will any picks be made before it? Feels like probably not. There's a fair amount of disengage from both sides, so it is hard to fully commit to something. The pressure around this Baron, I would be surprised to see it started though. Perhaps just look to poke on this mid-wave instead. Poke does not quite land. And the Helping actually looking quite aggressively here. Perhaps want to force something early. Poke coming out.
Just really testing the waters in the mid lane right now, seeing what ultimates, seeing what moves could be made. Lakai has snuck his way into the back line, but routed out there by Taco, making sure, who is very far away from hitting Mega anytime soon, so Helpigs certainly are in a very defensive posture. That means straight onto the Baron.
Yeah, I'd be very surprised to see BYG commit to this. I think they're going to have to look to turn and fight, but can perhaps use it to bring Helpigs in. And Helpigs, I think, kind of know that this isn't really on the table, but Tucker's actually perhaps caught out of position. It's Camille altered.
They've gone for it. Hong2's got the package, but it's too late. BYG have already pulled the trigger. They've said you've wasted your time. He didn't go for the package. He's just waiting in base. They've baited out the TP, and now surely in a 4v5, they start up the Baron again.
Yeah, now it is a bit sketchy here because their main turning tool of the Camille ult was used. And Helpigs, they have a lot of poke, but perhaps just looking to give it away.
Koki's not there. He's not interested. Not one bit. Instead, they're pinging frantically towards the Dragon. That would be their third one of the game. BYG also in a similar position, looking to go for a potential Dragon Soul point. But they're going to run straight from Baron down here, and Helpigs need to DPS this like the wind.
Yeah, it even gets Lucian altered, and I think BYG, they're going to perhaps play for the play or the fight after. They know Helpigs don't have Baron, so perhaps can chase him down. Kongyue, he has a great angle.
Yeah, great tidal wave. Has the flash as well. Everything being burnt to try and run away. Explosive cars, literally chucking the kitchen sink at this one, saying, please don't touch us. You'll get the Baron, we'll get the Dragon, we'll call it even.
Yeah, so BYG coming out with the Baron is definitely better in the short term, especially if they can get something done with it. At the same time, though, Helpigs can now pressure Soul Point, I guess, which is very, very valuable in its own right. Now, GA actually completed for Hong2 as well, so was already pretty much untouchable, but now, importantly, can't really die in the Camille ult. And, you know, a lot of the time when you're playing against Camille as the one-fed member of your team, you're going to get focused over and over. But with the GA, it's a lot more difficult to deal with.
Yeah, isn't phased about getting a Void Staff anytime soon. Yeah, there's a bit of magic resist, right, from the Merc treads, and you're starting to see the Hex Drinker come online here from Lakai, but you're thinking, do I want to try and rip through that shred, or do I want to actually live from the burst combo, right? So I can understand. GA makes sense.
And now, BYG, I feel like they have to get something done with this Baron, otherwise giving over the Dragon isn't going to feel that great. Perhaps can play to at least break some towers. But BYG, they still have, or sorry, Helpigs have a lot of range and a lot of wave clear. As you can see here, Hong2's making it very difficult for this tower to actually be sieged. Trying to keep the cannon alive thing is just tanking up the rockets here.
Yeah, they're going to try and keep their cannon alive as long as possible, make sure the Baron buff does its job. Oh, Kongyue jumps in, tries to snipe somebody out, but not going to fall victim to that one. Good Valkyrie away. Still is that 1-4 split with Camille keeping them interested in the mid lane as well. Culling goes out. It's all about denying the Baron buff, but more than that, clearing out these waves. In jumps Feng! Tries to be a hero. He's trying to 1v9. Watch him go. Can't find the kill. The wave is there to chase him, but can just skateboard by. And we're getting glimpses of what could be, but it's never fully substantiated into anything.
Yeah, Feng got insanely aggressive there. Even flashed under the tower 1v4. And it actually worked out. I mean, he's chunked a lot of members, got Hong2's flash. Perhaps can break this tower here. They're bringing down 5 members.
Yeah, they know that Helpigs just want to trim the wave. They're not interested in the fight. They just want to make sure that they can deny this base from falling on down. But it is going to happen. There's the max range chains again. Kongyue instantly receiving the wild growth for the knock-up. Doesn't need the HP, but they've done the job. They've stuck around, they've hard pushed, and they've managed to get that inhibitor.
Yes, they managed to break open the base, and with only 2 minutes on the next drag, are going to have that bot lane inhib pressure when they are looking to secure that drag. But I feel like this might end up going on here for a while, especially if BYG are the ones to pick up this next drag. Feels like we might be waiting for next Baron to do any more damage.
And it looks to me like the Baron is just fallen off now, so it's perfect pressure really from them to say, look, they're answering back with wave clear, ultimate, everything to try and stop us from getting any value out of this one, given that we did trade those major objectives. But we're going to find a way, and there's nothing more telling than you see a, you know, somebody like a Zeri just flash on forward with the hardstyle music blasting in their ears saying it's time to 1v5.
Now, BYG... Are they going to look for more here or not? Because you do have that inhib pressure, but at the same time, feels like without Baron, Hong2 can just one-shot your waves. There's not really a whole lot you can do about it. I guess maybe if you feel strong enough to just force him off the tower, you can. You know, Hong2, I mean, will... Ooh, actually uses the rocket onto Zeri rather than the wave, and I think that's a mistake. The tower is getting very, very low. Yeah, tower is going to go down. The BYG, you know, making smaller and smaller kind of leads here for themselves. And this dragon in 1 minute. Hellpigs will definitely want to contest, and I think the Corki package will probably be up by then. This is going to be a very big fight, and I think, you know, maybe the bot lane inhib actually doesn't matter a whole lot for this fight. Corki can clear them so quickly.
I think the question for me now is, before when we said there was going to be a lull point and they just lost that major team fight, I thought maybe just go back to the side lanes, go for the push, right? And they've done a phenomenal job at that, right? 7 towers to 2. They're going to have to fight because that dragon going up, Hellpigs want it, they'll have a package for it. How do BYG approach this now? Because would they be feeling comfortable that they've managed to get at least 4k gold and an inhibitor?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I feel like BYG, they want to fight, but definitely need to find some flanks. It's not as simple as just running at them. I think if you can get Kongyue and Lika into some, you know, nice flank positions, try and pressure this Corki somehow, could be good. Now, package actually doesn't seem like it's up, although it's perhaps just spawning now. Yeah, I believe Hong2 is in base, picking it up right now. Does have the package, and will be pathing back out onto the map. Dragons in 6 seconds here. I think Hellpigs, they could look to force, despite being down 4k gold.
Do BYG go in first, though? Because they know that Hong2 is locked in the bot side, has to answer to those supers. So, BYG instantly turn their attention to the dragon. Will the package go to waste?
Yeah, I think it looks like BYG are just going to pick this up. And now, Hellpigs, they have control of the Baron area, but I think that package will expire before Baron can actually be started up. Yeah, so perhaps did end up going to a waste. I mean, if you know you're not going to contest, definitely shouldn't pick up the package, but I think Hellpigs were thinking they still could. Ultimately could not. And this is an awkward situation because it feels like the mid-wave will probably go the way of BYG here. Actually, Baron perhaps just wants to be started on spawn while they still have the package alive. They're definitely posturing for it. Yeah, it's just started up. The Hellpigs really want to force this in the narrow window that they still have the package. Actually, just times out now.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate timing there, Shock. It's gone, and they had to disengage away from it. I feel like they've just missed their window again for the second time in this game.
Yeah, and I think the shoe's now back on the other foot. It's BYG that have the pressure. And with that inhib wave bot lane, ooh, they get poked out so much. I think BYG can start up the Baron.
Yeah, they got the HP advantage. It's their time to shine. But now, can they answer back with poke of their own? This Jace has been so annoying. The wave goes out. In jumps Snub. He's been polymorphed. Oh, Taco can't do anything. He couldn't find the explosive cast. He flash engaged, but completely nullified by a Lulu.
Yeah, and the inhib wave pressuring the base as well. So I think this will end up going over to BYG. And I think that's a pretty big win. You're going to get Baron here, be able to pressure, and then still have that soul point available to play for. Now up to around a 5k gold lead. And I think in that fight, Likai found a massive flank over the wall and then bought so much time while the rest of his team just kind of cleaned up Taco. GA actually comes in here for Feng, so still no Navori or IE, which is kind of insane because a lot of the time, you know, you see that picked up very early, actually, for the Zeri.
It's maybe the most defensive Zeri build I've ever seen, quite honestly. I mean, it's just lifesteal and survivability through the roof. It's like, I'll do damage eventually, but first of all, I need to make sure I don't get one shot by any of your carries.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, right? Because you have that Lulu. Do you actually need it? And have a look at that fight. 1116 really put out the numbers. I think his impact has largely gone unnoticed, but dealing, you know, a ton of damage in the fights. A little bit of poke coming down. Now, the bot lane inhib has respawned. Perhaps just send Camille down there to break it. or could pressure mid. Now, will they actually play from mid? It looks like they will. So perhaps trying to get all 3 inhibs here. If you can break both mid and top and then easily just rotate down the bot. Taco's engage.
Instantly cancelled out there, but a knock-up, isn't it, of that wild growth thing will not be deterred. Still active, still hungry, still keen to try and shove this one in with the second coming of that Baron buff. Waves aren't synced up, but it does mean that Lakai gets a rare chance to just walk into mid lane and find another turret. In the process, loses half of his entire HP bar.
Yeah, can TP back though, and still have waves crashing. Perhaps want to break all 3 towers here. And the bubble connects on a Fang, but there's no follow-up. Culling comes out.
Oh, the double culling. Whoever expects that. Here we go. Fang. He's teasing with the idea of a lightning crash, but it's just, that's always what it's been. It's always been about we're sieging, we're never committing. And I mean, that might just be the way that BYG win this game.
Yeah, and this inhib, I think this actually could just be BYG picking up 3 inhibs here, which would make it almost impossible. They're looking for a fantastic engage.
2-man stun. That's a kill, and that's a GA instantly pop right there. Kong Yue, what do? Do you try and be a hero and jump in with a hijacked ultimate? I don't think so. Yeah, Lakai's running away, and Kino's gone.
Insane engage there out of Taco. In fact, didn't even have to flash for it, so just really, really nice. And now those members are dead, but they will be back up for the drag. Fang lost his GA there and his flash, which is pretty big, I think. Let's take a look at this. Honestly, just really nice engage found. I think the inhib actually did go down to begin with, but you can see Taco gets the Narabar. Insane combo. Gets both carries of BYG, who is stacked up on top of each other. And in this case, GA is kind of more of a curse. Actually, just, you know, you end up going down at the end anyway. So yeah, really nice from Hellpigs. But it does come down to this 4th drag. Who's going to pick it up? And with 2 inhibs, you know, Hellpigs kind of have to make it fast. And have a look at how much damage Hong2's Corki is now putting out.
Maybe after last night, watching the Tristana, said, yes, I love scaling champions, but I have to be close range. That Tristana, nightmare feels. So what's better than Tristana? We'll just play Corki. Yeah,
and Corki's actually completed a Rabadons here. His full build. Basically as fed as you can possibly get.
Just on that Yodel gang hype train, isn't it, really?
That's right. Okay. Hellpigs, they have the control currently, but they have to make this fast because the waves will be meeting the base soon.
Yeah, going to rush this one down as quickly as they can. They have a lot of damage. Taco is going to tick over to Mega anytime now. Just needs to find that moment to strike. Oh, it's close. You wondered if something would happen crazy there.
I think BYG could perhaps just stop the backs and send Lee Kai into the base. They're TPing 1-1-6. I think Lee Kai might just cancel bases as well.
Yeah.
A TP comes out, but it's actually cancelled.
Lee Kai's doing it all right now. In jumps Fing, knocked away straight away. Looking to try and keep them interested as much as they can. That's a 3-man slam back, but 1-1-6 is in the base. He's taken 1, he's taken 2. And Hellpigs are saying, please have mercy on us. Don't backdoor for the victory. But he certainly will.
Oh.
And they'll win it out in our 2nd game of the night.
Yeah, what a sad way for Hellpigs to lose. I think we've seen this a couple times now where they end up scaled and in the position they want to be, but just can't quite play it clean enough. And BYG, I think that backdoor, I mean, it was pretty necessary, right? They, especially with the Dragon taken away, it was starting to get into a pretty dangerous situation for them, but they do manage to pick up the win. Oh, what a hectic game. I felt like, if we just took the first 20 minutes, MVP to Kongyue, no question, but honestly was doing a lot of throwing in the mid game. But hey, you win some, you lose some.
You do, and maybe for Godtone, the owner of Hellpigs, maybe Content Kingdom now, from his reaction, I'm sure, as to really what went down in that ending right there. And I mean, for a moment, you're thinking there are chances here for Hellpigs, but I think they just blundered on 2 different occasions that are overall just gave a lot of pressure for Beyond Gaming, right? They are systematically taking everything the map has to offer and almost like an eloquent game of chess, hitting you with a bit of checkmate, right? You have to go for that dragon. You've been mind controlled by a soul point, but you've lost everything inside your base, so we can just backdoor.
Yeah, and I think as well, it's so rare we see it actually go to that many dragons, right? Like normally a team manages to pick it up at say the 5th or the 6th dragon, but that really went all the way, both teams with 3. It's actually the 4th drag that is making the difference. And I mean, I really felt like Hellpigs ended up in a good spot, right? Like they scaled enough, they had, basically everything they needed to win that game, but then, yeah, just I think crucially end up dying, losing the inhibs, and then kind of forced into, like you said, that no-win situation, checkmated. And it is Beyond Gaming that take the win.